Kala Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rokakadash. Double honors unto the elders and the apostles who taught me this truth. This is your brother Dawad, the real brother beloved, and this is only for the elect.
Only for the elect.
And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
Shalom, Yasharala. This is a quick update on the latest RFID microchip news. What you just witnessed was Amazon's latest rollout, an obvious innovation geared toward steering the sheeple into willingly accepting the mark of the beast. This latest offering has been advertised across all mainstream media platforms, video and print. So, needless to say, they want to make sure everyone's thoroughly aware, especially the avid digital shopper, of their newest option, the coveted ease. I actually pulled info for this update from the Wall Street Journal. Let's delve inside for a bit to get a better understanding of how this spin on biometric tech correlates with the mark. The tech giant is creating checkout terminals that could be placed in bricks and mortar stores and allow shoppers to link their card information to their hands, according to people familiar with the matter. So, necessary for me to point out, they've been trying to familiarize us with this idea of swiping the hand, so to speak, for a long time. Even with the initial Interact symbol with the black hand. Then they started issuing bank cards with the microchip. There was a time that the RFID chip was not incorporated into your bank card. Then they went to, and I'm sure there's been periods in between that I am missing, but for the most part, the instances that stood out mostly in my mind were, as I said, initially with the Interact symbol, incorporating a black hand, which led me to believe that they were targeting Jake, obviously. And then, as I said, issuing bank cards with the option of tapping the RFID chip that was imprinted on it, and then the ability to use your iPhone as a bank card and whatnot. And now we come to this new biometric option. So I said all that to say this, that they've been trying to get you used to the idea of swiping your hand for a long time now. Reading on, they could then pay for purchases with their palms without having to pull out a card or phone. So the way they're trying to sell you on this is, it's a matter of convenience. How convenient. The company plans to pitch the terminals to coffee shops, fast food restaurants, and other merchants that do lots of repeat business with their customers. According to some of the people, Amazon declined to comment. So the purpose is to instill in you the idea to incorporate this action as a part of your everyday life. Amazon, like other tech companies, is trying to further integrate itself into consumers' financial lives, which is how they've been shopping the option of the RFID microchip implant. Moving on. Car companies have raised concerns about the potential for fraud with the terminals, including how to catch people who try to link their hands to a stolen card. And this is the actual selling point that will be made before the elite globalists declared the RFID microchip implant the only option of buying, selling, employment, travel, medical care, etc. In essence, the mark of the beast is a universal system that gathers information and ties it in with whatever pertinent personal record. The chip implant connects you to that system. Now, what is foreseeable is, one, the readiness of consumers to hand over more tracking information to Amazon. That creates an issue within itself, as well as creating the opportunity for hackers, per se, who have gotten their filthy digits on a JPEG of your hand. Now you've given them the access to, or the ability to use your credit cards. Now, Amazon says it could blacklist people who use the system fraudulently, but that might not stop cheaters from making one-time purchases of electronics or other big-ticket items. Card issuers are also asking how consumers would be able to add more than one account to their palms and how they would be able to choose between those cards when they pay. So see, potentials who opt for this way of consuming is already thinking of more savvy ways to take advantage of this option. Imagine a career crook with time on their hands. Pardon the inference. In any event, something else I did want to point out, and then I'll wrap it up with the scripture. So the plans for terminals are in early stages. Amazon recently began working with Visa to test transaction on the terminals as well as MasterCard. Amazon has discussed the project with card issuers. JP Morgan Chase & Company, Wells Fargo & Company, and Synchrony Financial have expressed interest in enabling consumers' card accounts to work with these terminals. As you can see, the other families of the banking elite are endorsing this new strategy of consuming, which cements in my mind that this is an orchestrated rollout devised to make the masses more comfortable with accepting the chip.
The Greek for 603 score and 6 or 666 is chi, stigma.
This is Revelation chapter 14, verse 9, and it reads, "And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast in his image, by now you know the beast is Esau, Edom, and America. Its image is the same decadence of the pagan Roman Empire, but in its contemporary vainglory, capitalism, vain philosophies, and ideas adverse to the belief and worship of the Most High Power Yahweh, the praise of white Jesus, sex, drugs, and violence, the spirit of live fast and die young, do as thou wilt, what has become classic Americanism, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand." An example of the mark on the forehead is Elon Musk's Neuralink, a device implanted in the brain with a mechanized interface. Verse 10, "And the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation being his righteous anger and judgment. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb." Now that's speaking of those thermonuclear missiles. Verse 11, "And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day or night, who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name meaning his esteem, his reputation, for lack of a better terminology." Verse 12, "Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of Yahweh and the faith of Yahweh Shah." Now the saints are the Hebrew Israelites, and patience is the long suffering in hopes of receiving the kingdom. You don't get no simpler than that. So keep the faith, Yasharallah. Shalom. And don't take that chip.